Homeland Security Investigations, which is a sub-agency of DHS, is leading the investigation, and we've been told that they're taking into account those body cam videos as part of their investigation.
Live from Michigan Avenue, this is Good Day Chicago.
Good morning and welcome to Good Day Chicago. I'm Gabriela Primus.
I'm Brian Jackson, and here's a look at some of the stories we're following this morning, including a federal shakeup in Minnesota. Our Border Patrol Chief Greg Bavino is leaving, and who will be taking his place?
Why a Chicago woman who was shot multiple times by a Border Patrol agent now wants evidence in the case released to the public.
And we're getting off to another cold start to the day. Mike says temperatures will increase, but not by a whole lot. Just how much warmer are we talking, Mike?
Maybe 2 degrees warmer than it is right now. Overnight temperatures actually rose a few degrees. Our warmest part of yesterday was right before midnight. Right now we got 13 at O'Hare, Aurora 12 at Waukegan, 14 at Gary. And of course, wind chills make it feel colder. A lot of places sub-zero. Feels like 5 below at Waukegan, 3 below at Aurora, 8 below at Valparaiso. And a little bit of light snow showing up on radar. These bands of light snow now moving into McHenry and northern Lake County might put down a brief coating, and there's also blowing snow due to the gusty wind, so watch out for some scattered slippery spots this morning due to snow-covered roads. Back to you both.
All right, thank you, Mike. Breaking overnight, a massive fire breaks out at a home in the Roseland neighborhood. You could see the flames shooting from the top of the home there as crews battle the fire in sub-zero conditions. This is along South Forest Avenue. No word yet on any injuries to residents or firefighters or what may have caused this fire.
Some new developments this morning in Minnesota. The Trump administration is reshuffling its leadership. Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bavino is expected to leave Minnesota as early as today, along with some of the roughly 1,000 Border Patrol agents currently deployed there. Bavino has drawn widespread criticism for claiming that Alex Preddy had been planning to, quote, massacre law enforcement. In Bavino's place, President Trump is sending border czar Tom Homan to Minnesota.
Well, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is speaking out against President Trump's border czar Tom Homan going to Minneapolis. The White House says Homan will be managing ICE operations there. Homan will report directly to the president. He previously worked as acting director of ICE in the President Trump's first administration. Governor Pritzker posted on social media yesterday saying, quote, sending Tom Homan to Minneapolis is like pouring gasoline on a fire. The chaos is the point. Let's stop sending Trump officials in and start sending Trump's agents home.
And the shooting of Alex Preddy in Minneapolis is prompting calls for a thorough independent investigation. Many of the details, including the identities of the agents involved and what evidence is being examined, remain unclear. The White House says that 3 federal investigations into the shooting are currently underway. Frustration with DHS leadership is mounting. Specifically, the claim by some Trump administration officials that Preddy was attacking federal agents when he was shot.
This incident remains under investigation, and nobody here at the White House, including the President of the United States, wants to see Americans hurt or killed and losing their lives.
Thank goodness we had video from constitutional observers who were there so bravely. But I think many Republicans are realizing what we've always known in Minnesota. Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've picked the wrong city.
President Trump spoke on the phone with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz yesterday. Well, Governor Walz said the meeting was productive.
Dozens gathered in Arlington Heights to stand in solidarity with the Minneapolis community and show support for Alex Preddy. Last night's vigil was hosted by the Northwest Suburbs Organizing for Action. People braved the cold in order to have their voices heard.
They are murders. ICE is murdering people. They shot her in cold blood. They shot Alex Preddy in cold blood. He was trying to help someone.
We're at a loss for words. We've never seen anything like this in our country, and it's unspeakable.
Organizers of that event say the best way that the people can help is by calling their members of Congress and urging them to oppose funding that supports ICE.
The lawyer for a Chicago woman shot by a Border Patrol agent is calling for the evidence to be made public. Miramar Martinez has been accused of ramming the vehicle of a Border Patrol agent back in October. She was shot multiple times. Charges against her were eventually dropped. Martinez's lawyer says that releasing body cam footage and other forms of evidence will help shed light on the case.
President Trump will travel to Iowa today in an effort to focus on affordability. He'll be speaking just outside of Des Moines. It's part of a White House strategy to have President Trump travel once a week ahead of the midterm elections. The plan is to focus on issues facing everyday Americans.
An investigation is underway after a Metro train hit a snowplow, killing a public works employee. This all happened yesterday morning in Bartlett after a Metro train struck his vehicle near the Bartlett station on the MDW line. The plow driver, who has not yet been identified, was 64 years old. No passengers on the train were hurt.
The death toll from the winter storm that moved across a portion of the country over the weekend is at least 30. Some areas saw at least a foot of snow. In the south, ice brought down trees and power lines under the weight. The video is shocking. At the worst of it, more than 1 million customers didn't have power. Utility crews are still working around the clock to restore service, with Tennessee, Louisiana, and Mississippi among the hardest hit.
All right, time is now 4:35 this morning. Turning to sports now. The Lakers were in town last night taking on the Bulls.
Mike, what'd you think?
It did not look good for the Bulls, did it? No. LeBron James and Luka Doncic were both in the lineup for the Lakers, and it was a big night for Doncic. He scored 14 points in the first quarter. He'd go on to finish with 46 in the game. LeBron added 24, and Kobe White led the Bulls in scoring with 23. But the Bulls go on to lose 129-118. Little good news, though, for the Bulls. Matas Buzelis is going to be involved in All-Star Weekend. He has been selected to the 2026 Rising Stars game. That'll be held on Friday, February 13th. This is Buzelis' second consecutive selection to this event. The Chicago area native is just the 9th Bulls player to earn 2 Rising Star selections. There will be no four-peat for Windy City Bulls player Mac McClung as dunk champion. Reports indicate he'll not be competing this year after winning the past 3 competitions. He is currently averaging more than 23 points in 11 games with the Windy City Bulls, Chicago's G League affiliate. All right, with the Patriots and Seahawks set to square off in the Super Bowl, we're able to see how the Bears would stack up against them. The Bears will look to improve upon this season's success, so we asked FS1's Danny Parkins, how close are the Bears from playing on a final Sunday?
The biggest thing for the Bears is how big of a leap does Caleb take? Like, is Caleb still inconsistent, or is he a top 5 quarterback in the NFL? Like, does he take a Patrick Mahomes in year 2, Lamar Jackson type of leap, year 2 in Ben Johnson's system, year 3 in the league? If he takes a leap like those guys, then you can afford a few fewer takeaways and a few more injuries because you've got an MVP caliber quarterback.
Years here announcing on Chicago radio, and if you've watched him nationally, he's been a big supporter and believer in the Bulls this year. I like what he has to say. Bless you, Brian. All right, we've got mostly cloudy skies out there, and we have even a couple of snow showers trying to move in from the northwest. We'll look at the radar here a little bit later, but be prepared to see a little snow coming in. And if you don't see it falling, you may see it blowing across the highway. We've got blowing snow. Show you the winds a little bit. Temperatures now are about the same as they're going to be all day long. 12 at 9 with some blowing snow. Blustery and cold at noon, 13, and still quite cold. Gusty winds, 13 degrees at 4 o'clock. So another day of just temperatures about 20 degrees colder than normal. Here's where we are now, about the same numbers I just showed you. 11 at Woodstock, 10 at Valparaiso, Joliet, one of the hot spots where it is 15 degrees. But look at these gusty west winds, gusting to 28 miles per hour right now at O'Hare. So you know what that's doing? It's making some bitter wind chills once again. At least it's not minus 20, but feels like 3 below at O'Hare, 7 below at Woodstock, 8 below. Looks like the lowest wind chill on the map in Valparaiso. So there is a little bit of snow. I'm using the Milwaukee radar because that's doing a good job of detecting this activity. This is precipitation aloft. That's not reaching the ground. But you see right here, these northwest to southeast oriented bands of snow. This is a little bit more than a flurry. Could be a brief snow shower, especially moving into McHenry County here in the next hour. But anywhere in Chicagoland may get one of these today. Maybe a flurry this afternoon, and a high temperature, a whopping couple of degrees warmer than it is now. There's more snow in the forecast. I'll show you that 7-day in just a few.
Thank you, Mike.
Coming up, the body of the final Israeli hostage held by Hamas in the Gaza Strip has been recovered.
And an Olympic snowboarder charged with drug trafficking enters his plea in court. We'll have the details coming up. Now on Good Day Chicago, breaking overnight, a massive fire breaks out at a home in the Roseland neighborhood. This is along South Forest Avenue. No word yet on any injuries to residents or firefighters or what may have caused this fire.
The Trump administration is reshuffling its leadership in Minnesota. Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino, and he's expected to leave as early as today, along with some of the roughly 1,000 Border Patrol agents deployed there. In his place, President Trump is sending border czar Tom Homan to Minnesota.
The lawyer for a Chicago woman shot by a Border Patrol agent is calling for evidence to be made public. Mary Mar Martinez had been accused of ramming the vehicle of a Border Patrol agent back in October. She was shot multiple times. Charges against her were dropped. Today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day. It commemorates the 6 million Jewish victims of the Holocaust and millions of others killed by the Nazi regime. January 27th marks the liberation of the Auschwitz concentration camp back in 1945. Today, there are roughly 196,000 living Holocaust survivors.
A former Olympic snowboarder on the FBI's most wanted list made an appearance in federal courts in California. Prosecutors say that Ryan Wedding ran a massive international drug trafficking operation, moving cocaine between Colombia, Mexico, Canada, and Southern California. They say that he had help from a cartel and ordered multiple killings. Wedding turned himself in last week at the U.S. Embassy in Mexico. He entered a plea of not guilty.
This week marks 1 year since a deadly crash between an American Airlines flight and a military helicopter near Reagan National in Washington, D.C. Today, the NTSB is holding a meeting to discuss the safety issues that caused the crash that killed 67 people. Board members are expected to vote on the probable cause and make new safety recommendations.
We're learning more about a deadly plane crash that happened in Maine over the weekend. The FAA says that 7 people were killed. One of the crew members did survive, but is severely injured. Officials say that the jet was cleared for takeoff as the snow had just started. The FAA and the NTSB are currently investigating. A mother is facing felony charges after a 19-month-old toddler fell out of her moving car into a busy intersection. We do want to warn you this morning that this video could be difficult to watch. This all happened in Fullerton, California. The child was nearly run over after falling out of the passenger side of the car. The incident was captured on dash cam and then posted on social media. After the video went viral, a witness went to police to formally report the incident. The 35-year-old mother was arrested on suspicion of felony child abuse.
Once they were out there in the city of La Habra, they found the 19-month-old had sustained injuries that were consistent with falling from the vehicle. The child was transported to a local hospital and is expected to make a full recovery.
Authorities said that the child was not in a car seat.
Israel has recovered the remains of the last hostage from Gaza. This clears the way for the next phase of the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas to begin. Aran Gavilis, a police officer, was killed during the October 7, 2023 attack by Hamas terrorists, which sparked 2 years of war. His remains were found in a cemetery in northern Gaza. The next phase of the ceasefire involves disarming Hamas, pulling back Israeli soldiers, and rebuilding Gaza.
President Trump is threatening to raise U.S. tariffs on South Korea to 25%. He accuses South Korea's National Assembly of failing to approve a trade agreement that was reached last year. The president says that the higher tariffs would apply to products including cars, lumber, and pharmaceuticals as he pressures lawmakers in Seoul to finalize the deal. South Korean officials say that they're continuing talks, but warned that the move could strain trade relations.
4:46 now. Mike, I'm glad to see that our temperatures are slowly crawling up.
Just
Sunday
barely.
looks really good.
Oh, boy. Well, we'll be in the 20s, but that may be after we get hit with some respectable lake effect snow again. And Brian, you were saying you were out you had to shovel twice, didn't you?
Got the snow shovel, yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, we may be doing some more shoveling here, especially this weekend. Good morning, everybody. There is a little snow coming in from the north this morning. A little weak disturbance behind a cold front been producing some scattered snow showers showers in southern Wisconsin. Some of that activity is now crossing the Cheddar Curtain and will move through Chicagoland, especially this morning. I can't rule out a flurry this afternoon, but most of any kind of more robust snow shower would happen this morning. Not much of a warm-up. Yesterday's high actually was 10. That happened right before midnight. I think we'll max out about 15 today. That's not much improvement. West winds at 15 to 25. And we'll have those gusty winds pretty much all day long. Tonight won't be as windy, but boy, it's going to be cold. I'll go with 2 as the official low, but a lot of us are going to be 0 or even colder than that. So wind chills could be 15 below 0 overnight into tomorrow morning. Got a bunch of mid-teens on the way. Not much to choose from between today, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. But what I'm much more concerned about is the potential of lake effect snow Thursday night into Friday and into a portion of Saturday as well. And then there's some more snow possible on Monday as we transition into February, picking up right where January left off.
Thanks, Mike.
Coming up, major social media companies go on trial today over claims that their platforms are addictive.
And Southwest Airlines is making that change to seating, and it starts today. Do you like that?
Taxes.
A new effort to stop domestic violence before it starts is in the works here in Illinois. It is a hotline designed for people who cause the hurt and want to change their behavior. It will be the first of its kind in the state, and experts say that there is a clear need. They noticed that When Survivors Hotline got dozens of calls last year from people harming their loved ones. That is how the Michael Reese Health Trust, based here in Chicago, discovered the demand. The hotline is still in its early stages, but is being developed in partnership with the network, which leads the Illinois Domestic Violence Hotline.
Michael Reese has been engaged in addressing domestic violence for decades, and we realized that the area of working with people who cause harm was underinvested, and there was a lack of innovation in that space. The data shows that last year 200 people who cause harm called the hotline looking for services, and they can be referred to partner abuse programs, but most of those slots are for people who are engaged in the criminal justice system. I think that it's really going to provide a needed intervention where none exists to keep survivors safe.
The hope is that the hotline can go live within the next year.
New vaccine guidelines from the American Academy of Pediatrics differs significantly from the federal government's recommendations. The AAP schedule released yesterday contains just minor adjustments of last year's guidance. By contrast, the CDC is narrowing its recommendations for several diseases. It also calls for a health provider consult for flu, COVID, and rotavirus vaccines. Many states and doctors are relying on the AAP guidelines in light of the government changes.
Well, social media companies are facing a potential landmark trial over claims that their platforms are addictive to teens. Jury selection set to begin today at California Superior Court. The case is against Meta Platforms, TikTok, and YouTube. Companies face accusations from a 19-year-old plaintiff claiming that the sites are attention-grabbing by design, which leads to heightening depression and thoughts of suicide.
European Union regulators have launched a formal investigation into the AI chatbot Grok after it started creating non-consensual sexualized deepfake images of women and children. Grok is primarily used on Elon Musk's social media platform X. So far, other governments have banned the bot or issued warnings against it.
Be very clear, child sexual abuse material is not a premium privilege. Because such output has no place in Europe, and we need to protect our citizens from potential future harms. This is why this investigation into Grok will allow us to look deeper into the matter to protect our women, our children, and our citizens.
A spokesperson for X says the company remains committed to safety and has zero tolerance for child sexual exploitation and non-consensual nudity.
Well, it is the end of an era for Southwest Airlines. Assigned seating begins today. That ends the airline's 50-year open seating policy. When booking your next flight, you'll be able to decide exactly where you want to sit. There will be different pricing options, including extra legroom, preferred, and standard seating. If you choose Southwest's basic ticket option, you'll be assigned a seat at check-in and will be the last to board.
Ryan, I know you weren't feeling good this weekend, but hopefully you were able to watch, I bet, from home. Bulls legend Derrick Rose's #1 jersey now hanging in the rafters. But the team mascot Benny the Bull, he's going to have a major change as well because his jersey number is also #1.
Benny, there's been a lot of speculation. Can you address the rumors about a potential number change?
I've got 99 problems, one number ain't one.
That is perfect, right? As you saw at the press conference, Benny is changing his number. Now, Rose had his number, of course, retired this past Saturday, meaning nobody else will ever wear the #1 jersey again unless PJ ends up playing for the Bulls. Benny and his team have been working hard to figure out what number he was going to wear. So Benny debuted the new jersey number at last night's game.
Looking sharp.
The Bulls posted this to their social media account. From now on, Benny will be wearing the number 99.
I like it.
Cool.
Good for Benny.
I kind of would have been okay if he wore number 91, just like after Rodman. I don't know if we're going to retire Rodman's number. That would have been cool.
That would have been neat. Yeah. But did you see how sharp Benny was in his formal attire there, that red suit? I mean, we're used to seeing him in the jersey and all when he comes in here, but that was smart. I need a red blazer, I think. All right, we have a little bit of snow on the way coming in from the north. Let's have a look over here on the radar screen, and you can see this activity. It's not much, but it's a little bit more than actual flurries coming down. Most of this now well northwest of the city. Let me zoom in here and show you where these snow showers are occurring. And you're probably seeing some right now in maybe western Lake County. Here's Route 12. I bet you're seeing some in Spring Grove, too. None of this is particularly heavy, but a little bit more than flurries coming down right now. Probably here near Wakanda and 176 near Ivanhoe. The rest of Chicagoland dry, but there is blowing snow. We still have some very gusty winds out there. At times have been in excess of 30 miles per hour. Right now, looking at this, looks like 26 is the strongest wind gust at Aurora, but we're in the 20-plus range at Waukegan, O'Hare, Joliet, Midway, Gary, and Valparaiso, so it's a blustery morning, and because that snow that we got over the weekend was so fine and powdery, it's just blowing anywhere today right across the roadways, and that may cause some slippery spots even in areas where the snow isn't falling. So today, mostly cloudy and cold, 15, not much of a bump from where we are right now. West winds at 15 to 25 will keep those wind chills down close to 0 all day long. And watch for a couple of flurries or a brief snow shower. 7-day forecast. This period right here, Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday. That is when lake effect snow is going to threaten the Chicago area with some impacts. It is still too early to tell. Is it going to hit the city? Is it going to be more for Gary? But I think anywhere near the lake is in line to get some snowfall here off and on during that entire period. And what do you see here? A continuation of well below normal temperatures right on into the first few days of February. 4:56. We'll be right back.
Did you know that about 25 million
The Department of Homeland Security has confirmed that ICE agents will conduct enforcement of the Super Bowl. In a statement to TMZ